everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Paola, and today I have a very special guest with me. Aveda, would you like to introduce yourself and tell us why we're here?
Sure. I'm Aveda Vice, and I am a monster romance author. And we're here today to talk about my book, Yours Insatiably, which was my first novel that came out in December. And just a little bit about the book. It's about an accidental encounter between a succubus, who is secretly a succubus, and her moth fae coworker that kind of takes them from work rivals to work rivals who have chemistry and have sex, and it's kind of complicated. But her work contract kind of throws a wrench in things because it stipulates that they can't be together in any capacity. So they decide to try to be friends. And as Pi starts introducing Averin, the succubus, to more people in places where she doesn't have to hide what she is, they start to have to take a closer look at their feelings for each other and Averin's feelings about herself, both of which are a little complicated.
It's a great book. Everyone out there, you should get it immediately. I will leave the link to it down below. Aveda, what are some of the highlights and what are some of the challenges that come up when you're writing monster romance?
I think the challenges for writing are probably pretty similar to other genres. I think the monster romance genre in general is a place where authors are able to kind of push the envelope, whether it be with different kinks or storylines or different monsters that people maybe typically wouldn't be into, but monster romance readers, I feel like, are very willing to try different things. They're super supportive. They're really avid readers, and they kind of will take any monster romance. They will experiment with different kinds of monster romance. And you also have the ability to put in really cool body parts, just like built in. So you can kind of incorporate that as well as different plot points, and you don't have to worry as much about like what is scientifically possible or what is real. And you do have to do research, but you're not so constrained to the real world, or like you would be with contemporary romance or strictly historical romance. But some of the challenges, having said all the ways that you can kind of experiment with different things, monster romance is still very much like other genres in that it's very saturated with the same kinds of stories that we see in other genres. Not saying anything bad about these stories, but even to be monster romance, it's still very cishet, very white, very skinny and pretty. It's usually a big monster man traps a little white human woman and she secretly likes it. It's usually male, female. So there's not a ton of diversity, just like you have with any other genre, which is a shame because it's a place where you should really be able to, branch out and tell more queer stories and have different races of characters as far as like Black characters and brown characters. So it is nice that you can experiment, but I would love to see even more people writing it and supporting even more of the stories that aren't just the same kind of storyline that we see a lot of. Like some of my favorites that are doing that are The Devil's Bargain by Rian Fox and Sing Me to Sleep by R.M. Virtues, Exodus 23 by Freitas Moon, which just came out, and like Megan Cubed is doing a bunch of different queer monsters. So I really like when I see other people kind of doing things that aren't just following the same kind of vein that we see in all the other romance genres. So definitely support those people.
Yeah, it's weird. Remember I read last year, it was a graphic novel, and it was about aliens. And it was like a couple of very smart humans, because they were scientists and stuff, going to space and making money off of filming themselves having sex with aliens. But it was all so like everybody had a penis, everybody had a vagina, everybody was skinny. It was just so like, really, this is what you're doing? You have a whole like, what are you doing? Yeah.
And I saw somebody on Twitter recently talking about how in a lot of those more mainstream monster romances, a lot of times the monsters are a man and they're usually kind of like stereotypically racially coded, specifically for like Black men, where it's like he's scary and huge and whatever. And I think they had a really good point talking about how even in places where you say, oh, it's a guy with green skin or whatever, there are still real world applications and like ways that that makes its way into the writing. So yeah, I agree that it's something that has to be examined more in the genre.
Yeah, definitely. So switching gears to something a little more lighthearted, who is like a famous monster that you'd like to, or that you've already fallen in love with?
I have recently, in the past like decade or so, really had a soft spot for the xenomorph from like the Alien franchise. I obviously it would be a disaster, like I would just die, but I really love watching like the playthrough of the Alien Isolation video games and just how like intelligent and protective they are. And it's really my aesthetic, like they just look really cool and really horrifying. So I really enjoy the xenomorph, especially, you know, Queen Xenomorph. I really am intrigued by that whole story. And I really feel like they are a monster that should get more respect in the monster romance community.
I love that. I would read a book about that. I would
Yeah.
read fanfic. I would read everything. Yes.
I wonder if there is fanfic. There probably is. I should see.
Yeah, we should look it up. So this is the rapid fire section. Are you a plotter or a pantser?
Probably more plotter.
Paperback or hardback?
I feel like paperback is easier to read, but I feel like hardback is, I would just prefer to have hardback.
What's a book you want everyone to read?
I mentioned it earlier, but Exodus 23 by Freitas Moon just came out, and it's amazing. It's about a biblically accurate angel, and it has a really captivating, beautiful story that deals with religion and Latin characters, and it has queer main characters. So it is wonderful. It came out yesterday, I think. So I think everybody should try that because it's very good.
Should books be judged by their covers?
The writing and the content's probably not, but if you're just judging the book as a whole, then yeah, the cover's a part of it.
And your covers are actually so good. I love how, like, they're just so captivating, in my opinion. I love your covers.
Great. I make my own for most of them, like Fear and Other Love Languages, Chase Faraday made for me, and then Yours Insatiably, I bought a pre-made. But I'm always worried, like, because I just have like self-taught graphic design experience. So I'm always like, this cover is probably gonna be not great, but people seem to like them. So that's really good to hear. I'm glad.
Yes, I love them. The feed one especially is hot. Hot. Yes. What's your purpose in life?
I was kind of dreading this question because I have no idea. I quit my like 9-to-5 job about a year ago that I've been working toward for like years because I thought like publishing and being an author was impossible. And then I'm really enjoying what I'm doing now. Like I feel really fulfilled, but I still don't know what my purpose is if I have one. So I'm just going day by day, hopefully enjoying what I'm doing.
Nice. That's a good one. That's a good purpose to have, taking it day by day. I like that. It's equal parts hot and also kinky and also sweet. So how do you balance all of those three in a novel like Yours Insatiably?
With Yours Insatiably, it was really important to me to show that Kai and Averin respect and appreciate each other as individuals outside of their relationship, to kind of set the tone and the baseline for being able to explore the more like nasty, kinky sex, because they know it's safe and they care about each other. They want each other to enjoy it. They want each other to be safe. So I really wanted to emphasize that people can enjoy any variety of like kinks or disrespectful sex, and it doesn't have to be equivocated to their relationship. So they don't have to come from somewhere. Kinks don't have to be based on particular trauma. It's not like if you're in a good relationship, you have sex like this. If you're in a bad relationship, you have sex like this. And I really like to show the characters supporting each other outside of sex, like with their personal dreams or turmoil or whatever it may be. So like Avon and Pi always want each other to be happy and fulfilled and to get what they want. So like Avon wanted to keep her career, and Pi always wanted to return to where he was born and where he was raised. So even at the expense of like their own happiness, they want the other person to get what they have been wanting. So they're good friends and partners to each other in life, not just sexually. So they have chemistry as people and they balance each other in that way. So I think that helps make it sweet, but also dirty.
I love that. And I wanted to write this question in because there's a lot of talk about how romance with no sex scenes or with very little sex scenes is sweet. And that's something that's not at all true in Yours Insatiably.
Yeah, I feel like I've seen a lot of those conversations too, where in closed door romance is called sweet romance or clean romance or whatever, when it's like you can have a very sweet romance and still have very kinky, degrading sex because that's what the characters like and that's what they want to do, but they can still really care about each other.
Do you have any other projects that we should be excited about?
Yeah, so I have a prequel novelette in the same universe as Yours Insatiably coming out on March 4th. It's about very different monsters. So where Pi and Averin are very gentle with each other, these are very vicious polyamorous monsters who are like true enemies, like trying to kill each other, but also having sex because, you know, where's the line between hate and lust? So it's setting up for the first multi-novel series that I'm going to do where each book is kind of a different standalone, but the prequel's coming out on March 4th and I'm currently editing the full novel for Skin, which is another prequel that I had last July, I think. It's gotten a lot longer than I anticipated, but I really, really like it. And I am really hopeful that it will be a very emotional journey, but similar to Yours Insatiably, show the characters like really caring about each other and having very nasty sex. So hopefully July it will come out. But those are the two upcoming ones that I have.
Yes, I'm excited. I like the kinky romance. I like the dirty sex or whatever it's, people call it. I just love it so much. And I love monster romance. It's been such a fun time, reading and discovering new authors. It's just so good. So people watching at home, like I said, I will leave a link to Yours Insatiably down below, as well as Aveda's relevant links like her card. Yeah, if you haven't already and you'd like to, go ahead and subscribe. Aveda, thank you so much for doing this with me. I love you on Twitter so much, and I had been dying to talk to you. So thank you so much for doing this with me.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me.
Thank you. And everyone else, don't forget, again, check the description below, and we will see you in another one.